My name's Adam Monaco and I'm the Financial Controller for Hi-Tec Oils. With our national capacity, we can now service Australian companies nationwide. Of late, we have now expanded into the New Zealand market. Here at Hi-Tec Oils, we receive premium base oils and premium additive packs. Together, with our highly trained staff, we manufacture over 500 premium quality products. Hi-Tec Oils is Australian made and Australian owned.
"2012 turned out to be one of the toughest years in V8 superboat racing, but with a new intensity in the teams and plenty to race for, this year could turn out to be the new benchmark." Temora plays host to round 2. Let's kick things off by taking a look at highlights of round 1, and it was a big weekend for Daryl Hutton, really pushing hard. Then all of a sudden things went pear-shaped in a big way with a massive rollover, and he wasn't the only one. Slade Stanley getting air and then upside down in the water, trapped underneath the boat. Fortunately, driver and navigator were both A-OK.
Well, I had a little bit of a mishap. I come around the corner, copped a bit of spray across the visor, and it just sort of impaired my vision with the glare off the lights. And I just come down the straight, didn't see the apex, and just, went straight over it, launched me, and upside down I went.
And that pretty much set the stage for the entire weekend. Jeremy Kincaid having issues out there and proving that at this first round this year, they had all come out wanting to fight. Troy McKenzie also went into the tyre wall as well. A little bit of damage to the front of that boat, and Shane Andrews, trying for a battle in the top 3, beached himself as well. It was Brett Thornton that took out the win on Obsession in the 350 class, setting them up for a great season. Brooke DIXON proving once again going to be very tough to beat in the 400 class, taking victory, and Mick Carroll on board Excalibur took out the superboats for the first round. If round 1 was going to be anything to go by, round 2 was always going to be thrilling, and Justin Roiland's proving that he was having issues early on in qualifying, putting his boat up onto the bank and bouncing himself out of contention for the weekend. Phil Dixon had a fire on board the Hi-Tec Oils machine, both driver and navigator having to exit that boat in a big hurry, and Damien O'Leary, who had a borrowed motor this weekend, had a fire of his own, this one absolutely huge.
Yeah, it was awesome until we came under the line and oil pressure line came off and got a bit of a fire, unfortunately, that started underneath the engine and went slowly forward because I splashed water onto it, mistakenly. And from there, it just burnt for a little while.
Jeremy Kincaid's woes second round continued with another beaching, and this time a rollover. And what about this enormous one from Vicious?
We just came a bit too close to that bank, and the boat just went straight over the top of it. And the next thing I knew, we were rolling, and I was just praying that we were going to end top up, not in the water. But yeah, unfortunately, we went for a swim, and just had to get out of there.
And in the top 12 rundown, it was all about this Excalibur with one of the most enormous crashes ever seen in V8 superboats, 80 metres through the air, over the fence. Fortunately, driver and navigator A-OK, if not a bit shaken. Just goes to prove a clip at the bank at 130 kilometres per hour, and it can all go wrong in a very, very big way. And good testament to how strong these boats are. Brett Thornton on Obsession took out the 350 class. In the 400 class, once again, it was the Hi-Tec Oils, Brooke DIXON and Ted Sagitas quickest in the superboats. Well, let's take a look at the top 6 as the moon comes up, the lights are on, and we're about to go racing here at Temora under lights. Mark Garlick on board, Grumpy first off the line. Tim, better known as the Caveman, joins us. You travel the world calling these boats. What a thrilling weekend we've had so far.
I tell you what, Boydo, it has been absolutely sensational as we see Mark Garlick back in action after a 2-year hiatus away from the sport, stepped up now into the 400s and acquitting himself beautifully in a 20-year-old tough tack hull.
We know he's aggressive once he gets out there, and you can see on board he's leaving nothing back on the boat ramp. He's giving everything down through the turns, getting close to the banks but not close enough to tag them, because we've seen what happens when you do that.
Oh, certainly. When you launch a boat like we saw Mick Carroll, we've seen Mark Garlick over the years have some pretty big incidents himself, but now in the run for home, Mark Garlick is going to set the time for the rest of the 400s with a 47.884.
Well, that's the time to beat in this top 6. A rundown. Garlick on top with that 47.88. Greg Harriman out there in the 360 bolt machine. He has proven that when these times are set, he's equal to the task and go out and can lay down some very, very quick times. You can see on board he's trying, just made a slight mistake there though.
Yeah, look, Greg Harriman, the president of the AFJSA, absolutely going red hot at the moment. Great to see that he's just relinquished some of the race day duties and really started to concentrate on racing in the 2012 season and carrying that on into 2013. This Macraft looking beautiful on the water at the moment.
It's very good on the point and shoot mode, isn't it? It doesn't lose too much through the turns, and Greg doing a fantastic job at keeping it on track. 47.88, the time to beat. It's ticking down. Let's see what he's capable of doing. Running out of time, gets across now. A 48.291 for Greg Harriman.
Damien O'Leary now in Kryptonite Racing. This is the boat that we saw on fire earlier. Luckily, no major damage to that borrowed engine from Rowan Smith. But Damien O'Leary now absolutely on fire here this weekend, literally, but also figuratively, just driving beautifully. Knifed it in a little bit there. That would have cost him precious time.
Let's see what he can do. You're on board with him now, down through the S's part of the circuit. Time ticking away about the halfway mark at the moment. Once again, this boat very good on the point and shoot stakes. It's losing no speed through the turns, and it's split second reaction time from the drivers. 47.88, still the time to beat, but we've got about 10 seconds left of this run. Let's see what he can do.
With Damien O'Leary now in the run for the line, and a 45.635. Damien O'Leary has just been ripping them out this weekend.
That is a very quick time. Brooke LUCAS. Let's see what Brooke LUCAS can do. That's a quick time to try and beat.
Yeah, Brooke LUCAS, 350 champion from years gone by in the stealth hull these days, and doing a fantastic job. We're sort of out in the wilderness in the last couple of years, really starting to put the pressure on the guys at the top of the sheet in the 400 class.
Tim, this under lights racing really does change the perspective, doesn't it? It's really hard to pick up where the water starts and the bank ends.
Oh, certainly, Boydo. And as the water cascade, and Brooke LUCAS had a flame out. There is something gone wrong with that, and Brooke has just shut that down, and he'll just ease that off. Don't want to do any damage to the engine, so that will be the end of the night for Brooke LUCAS, as Jake Garlick now takes off the line. The 350 championship winner way back in 2008, stepped up into the 400. He was second last year and wants to go higher on the podium. Jake Garlick now in Grumpy. As we said earlier, this is a father and son team, A and B driver, and Jake being the young fella from Queensland.
What sort of time can they set there in Grumpy? Once again, the boat turned out in magnificent style. Each time we see this boat come to a round of the V8 Super Boats, it's presented perfectly and is usually pretty darn quick as well.
Oh, certainly. Jake Garlick came into the sport as a 17-year-old, really wet behind the ears, and he's just really stepped up throughout, and with a time to beat a 47.884 and a 45.163 there for Jake Garlick.
Well, you'll have to assume that's going to be the benchmark right down until the last boat hits the track. Brooke DIXON The Hi-Tec Oils Beast comes back out. A dominant season last year. They've started off this year in perfect style, but the pressure is on and they're feeling it in season 2013.
Yeah, look, this Macraft is absolutely beautifully set up, and it is an absolute testament from Auspro Logistics and Track Sport, who put this engine together. Casey Lack, the navigator, these girls have teamed up for many a year. And Brooke DIXON, if you could patent this driving style, this is the top of where driving is in the 400 class right around the world.
Beautiful handling of the boat over across the wash on their pre-wash, or their post-wash I should say. Brooke DIXON, the time to beat 45.6. Are they going to do it? They're looking good. 44.76 once again the benchmark. Brooke DIXON on top of the 400 class. Jake Garlick in second, and Damien O'Leary sits back there in third. Stay with us. Coming up after the break, it's the top 6 for the unlimited class. More coming your way from Temora right after this. Time now for the top 6 in the super boat class, and we're getting ready to rush around this circuit and see how things pan out. Of course, no time to beat Peter Freckleton on board Team Solo with Pepsi livery on the side of it. What, they couldn't make up their minds here?
No, I don't think they could there, Bordeaux, but I'll tell you what, same company, great brand, and I'll tell you what, it's fantastic to see that the principal of Team Solo, Peter Freckleton, in the Pepsi Next livery, is out here and racing, because this boat upside down at round 1 in Griffith, they had to rebuild the entire right-hand side. The pistons didn't arrive for this boat until the Friday morning. They had to rebuild it, missed Friday night, came up, and here they are now.
Besides the mechanical issues they had to face, you have to wonder if it's going to play psychologically on you after such a big incident. And the team will be looking to try and get in a very good, quick top 6 run to try and overcome some of those hoodoos. We're almost at the end of the lap. Finish line in sight. The time to beat, 49.905. That's the time that's going to be required to get you into the top 3. Let's see what Shane Brennan can do. Air Rated comes out onto the track for their run. Just looking a little bit down in speed through that first turn, but let's hope they don't find any air out there.
Yeah, Shane Brennan, normally competing in the 350 class, his boat broke down, and the owner of this particular boat, Brad Marsden, has been kind enough to allow Shane to have a drive, and he's managed to get it into the top 6, so it's a whole new package for Shane here this weekend. They're really trying to get used to this aging hull. Doesn't handle as well as some of the others, but Shane out there at the moment with Melissa Jones doing the navigational duties.
And 49.9 is the time required to get you into the top 3, with only one pass so far. Air Rated looking pretty good. About a quarter of the circuit to go. They take the left-hander. The boat not handling the ripples too well, bouncing a little bit. That's costing just a few seconds in time. What sort of time can they do? They've passed the 49.9. It's a 53.50. Is that going to be good enough?
Oh, I doubt it very much there, Bordeaux, but look, Shane Brennan absolutely wrapped with that run to get that boat into the top 6, as Glenn Spider Roberts now launches out of the start chute in a blown budget. Spider Roberts traditionally has a little bit of trouble under lights with the water cascading back off the dirt there into the water, and it makes it hard to work out where the track actually is.
What a great name for a boat. Blown budget. I think plenty of people in motorsport can recognise that. So far, things are pretty good. He's attacking the circuit. He's aggressive. Almost clips the bank there. Got it wrong on the in point and almost wound up on the bank on the outside of the track, but managed to gather it all up. That was a heart-pounding moment for them, but so far, they're continuing on and still just as aggressive.
Oh, Spider Roberts been around the sport for a number of years and just really got this package together as they make the run for line. 45.238 there. So we would expect that with that time that Glenn Spider Roberts will progress.
Now we're going to find out who is going to bow out. Ted Seguida's 360 bowl out on the track. They know the time of 53.5. If you can't get that at least, you're not going to make the top 3. And Ted Seguida's, we know how aggressive this guy can be.
Oh, Ted Seguida's very, very aggressive style of driving. Traditionally, all elbows and knees seems to have smoothed things out a lot in the last year or so. This is a 410 sprint car engine. The engine weighs around about 100 kilos, just waiting waiting for a 700 cubic inch big block to be delivered from the States. But Ted Sagitas now absolutely aggressive at just pointing that boat within millimetres of where he needs it.
I know it sounds strange, but when you look at the body language of the boat, every time Ted Sagitas goes out there, he gives it his all and he makes the top three, a 45.09, a good run from him. Very good run indeed. Puts himself right up there with a chance. Phil Dixon, the Hi-Tec Oils beast, comes out. 49.90 is now the benchmark. If you can't make that, you're out.
Lauren Hopkins sitting right in alongside Phil Dixon here this weekend. The lady from Kilsyth doing the navigational duties. We saw this boat on fire, wondering if that will have any issues further down the track. The boat seemed to be running quite nicely at the moment though. Going through the split at around 23 seconds. Phil Dixon, he's certainly going to need to get a bit of a hurry up if he wants to progress in to the top three.
The Hi-Tec Oils boat has had mixed results over the last couple of seasons, but Phil Dixon's always there, always waiting to pounce, and if there's been one mistake, he will capitalise. Runs just a little bit wide there. Let's see what sort of time he can do. 45.26, but is that good enough to make the top three? With one more competitor to come out onto the circuit, and it's Team Solo. Daryl Hutton, a man who doesn't like not getting into the final. He goes with incredible enthusiasm out there.
Oh, Daryl Hutton, absolutely aggressive. He comes from jet sprinting endurance racing in New Zealand. The Kiwi absolutely on fire here tonight.
A few little mistakes have cost time where the boat bogged down about 4 or 5 turns back. But riding on board with him, you can see that they're not wasting any time out there. Change of direction, just a little bit of loss of pace, just a bit too aggressive.
Yeah, Daryl Hutton is a very reactionary driver and at times can be a little bit hard on the wheel, but certainly knows his way around a V8 Superboat course. There is no doubt about that. Daryl Hutton now in the run for line, 44.030.
Wow, good time from Daryl Hutton and Team Solo. They top the sheets, 44.03. Ted Sagitas and Glenn Roberts round out the three. Well, let's take a look now at the top 3 runs. We'll kick things off with the 350 class. They call it the junior class, but speed-wise, there's nothing junior about it, Tim. Here's Robert Hullum out on the track.
Oh, certainly got the wife, Pam Helen, sitting right in alongside him. These boats, remember, ladies and gentlemen, while it is the entry-level class for jet sprint racing, these boats producing, as Robert Hullum just clips the inside of the bank, these boats still produce about 400 plus horsepower.
Unbelievable support for their sponsor too, IGA. Go online and find out how they came about. A fantastic story there, as is Robert Hullum at the moment. He's made 2 minor little mistakes, a clip at the bank and then a bog down there, but the time's still pretty quick.
Yeah, look, we're in the 350s. This is really going to cost Robert Hullum quite a bit of time. It's all about just mash the pedal to the metal and smooth his fast. So those little mistakes will cost him absolutely plenty. Just don't have that horsepower just to drag you out of trouble. As Robert Hullum now, the final right-hander in the run for the line, and a time of 54.911.
Oh, that's not going to be good enough, you wouldn't think. 54.911. Let's see if it can be eclipsed. And you have to expect that it would. Brett Thornton comes out. Obsession attacks the track.
I tell you what, this man came into jet sprinting in 2011, took out the Rookie of the Year and stood 3rd place on the podium in his first ever race. And Obsession is really what this boat is all about. Lynn Thornton, his wife, they both spent so much time just preparing this boat, and just have a look at the colours there under lights, Boydo.
Well, it looks fantastic. It's superbly presented, but not just that. It's also quick there. Brett getting a little bit of wash there, bouncing the boat across the top of the water. That slows down, that costs time. That's what you're looking to try and avoid, but sometimes it's unavoidable.
Oh, certainly. Look, that crosswash just unsettled the boat. And Brett Thornton now will be coming down through the centre part of the track. It's the final left-hander. As you can see on the onboard, the right-hander now in the run for the line. Brett Thornton with the time to beat 54.911. Yes, 52.70.
Well, that's going to be the time to beat with one more boat to attack the track. The IGA Beast left with David Blake on board, comes up. Let's see what they can do. So far, a good start. They got speed very, very quickly. Bogged it down in the first left-hander, though.
Yeah, this ageing shotgun hull is beautifully prepared by David Blake and the IGA racing team out of Deniliquin. Gary Blake sitting in the navigator's seat, and you've got the Denny Ute mustering blazoned all over the side there as well. David Blake has got more stickers on that than a Denny Ute muster Ute.
So they like a party, is that what you're saying? So far, they're enjoying the party. It's been reasonably smooth out there by that one blemish down in the first turn. Clip of the bank that time. Let's see, 52.7 is the time to beat. They've got about 10 seconds left of their run. Can they do it?
I'll tell you what, that David Blake nearly turned that upside down, caught the inside. We have seen competitors lose it after that. He was lucky to get away with that. David Blake now, 53.538. Not good enough. It's Brett Thornton that takes out the round from David Blake and Robert Hallam.
Yeah, mate, it's a competition's pretty fierce. It's all pretty close racing, and it was great, yeah.
Well, championship points at the end of round two. It's Brett Thornton out in front on 117, Shane Andrew on 98 and 89 for Tony Whalen. Well, let's take a look at the 400 class, and Damien O'Leary had a barbecue earlier on in qualifying. Let's hope, Tim, that he's cooking with gas this time.
I'll tell you what, Damo has been absolutely on a flyer all weekend. This Burrard engine is doing absolute wonders, and this Stinger hull, Damien O'Leary has just been point and shoot and doing a beautiful job. Grace Smith, the 17-year-old secretary from Uranquiddy in New South Wales, it's the first time in a boat. So Damien O'Leary now absolutely pushing it to the limit.
Very good so far, no major mistakes, just a little bit of problem getting through some of the crosswash, but has managed to keep the pace up, runs it very wide there, proves that he's being aggressive. Let's see what sort of time he can clock up. Only a couple more turns left to go, and he'll set the benchmark for the 400 class. It's going to be very quick time, but there's still plenty of good competitors. Grumpy comes out. Jake Garlick never takes a backward step.
Oh, Jake Garlick, absolutely. This young man has put all before him. He has done a beautiful job throughout the 2012 season. Now in 2013, he wants to stand on top of the podium and take that position away from Brooke DIXON. Callum Bett, the 15-year-old, the navigator from this area, Temora, in the navigator's seat.
Yeah, Tim, it was a good point you made earlier on. I really believe that Jake Garlick has the goods to be able to take the battle up to Brooke DIXON this season. And this round here, this second round of the championship in 2013, will prove exactly if that's the case or not. Just a few more turns left to go. 45.7 or 11, the time to beat. Let's see what he can do across the line. 44.814. So he moves to the top, but is it going to be good enough? Brooke DIXON lines up the Hi-Tec Oils boat, brings it out onto the track, and you know they can put in some scintillating times.
Oh, Brooke DIXON, a young lady with plenty of experience, no doubt about that. Took out the title in the 400s in 2012, was equal second in the 2000 World Championships, and this young lady knows what pressure is all about. She certainly knows how to drive. Casey Lack, the great team that these two provide one another, sitting right alongside her. Just a bit on the inside there, Boydo.
Yeah, she's quietly spoken, but very, very determined, and knows this craft has absolutely been able to nail it over the last couple of seasons. Time ticking down, just a couple of turns to go. Who's going to take out the second round? Will it be Brooke DIXON? Down through the left-hander, looks good the time. Cross the line, 44.762. That is too good. Jake Garlick will finish in second, and Damien O'Leary, what a comeback from a burnt motor earlier on in the weekend. Brooke DIXON tops the sheets over Jake Garlick and Damien O'Leary in third.
Yeah, in the end it was a pretty close call. Jake put up a pretty good fight, but just knocked him off right at the end there. Of course, it's pretty exciting to finish out with your fastest time of the day. You know, all day I've been chipping away at my time, so it is nice to come away with your fastest time of the day.
Well, championship points at the end of round two. It's Brooke DIXON out in front, 120, a big lead already in season 2013. the V8 Superboats. They come out onto the track, and wouldn't it be a great result if Glenn Roberts on board Blown Budget could take a victory here this weekend? He's competed in a couple of rounds over the last few years in this boat, but never a full-time run. A former 350 class racer, and he's out to prove a fair bit this weekend, already into the top 3, Tim.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Spider will be absolutely wrapped with the way that this boat is running. They've just been tweaking this over the last couple of seasons and really just going all out here tonight. The big block Chev were producing about 950 horsepower, just a really high work rate right here.
So far it's pretty good. Smooth across the top of the water. Doesn't bog it down in the turns too much. Not getting too close to the bank either. So he's giving himself just a bit of breathing space. 45.514 the time to beat, but well and truly into the top 3. They will be not disappointed even if they finish in that spot. Ted Sagitas, the 360 bolt boat, comes out, and once again, look at that. Even for the first turn, just throws it in.
Oh, big Ted Sagitas, just really super aggressive. 666, the Frankenstein, 360degreebolt.com, absolutely on a flyer. Ted Sagitas, a really competitive guy. Oh, just took a couple of bites at that just then.
They've got to ask, do they bash him over the head with a baseball bat before they send him out? He just comes out, you can see, doesn't back off one iota. One mistake, he didn't bother about it, got stuck straight into it. Unfortunately for him though, it caused another small issue.
Yeah, that just sort of carries on. If you get it wrong in one corner, sometimes it will carry through. Ted Sagitas now 44.264.
Still a very quick time, moves into the top, but Daryl Hutton on Team Solo, he knows that 44.2 is a time that he can do if they can get it right.
And remember, Daryl Hutton had this engine apart on the morning where everybody else was qualifying. Daryl Hutton never showed up to the track today and absolutely acquitting himself beautifully, just shaving the corner off, really point-to-point, very reactionary driver from Team Solo.
Well, let's see what he can do. He's only got a couple more turns to go. Time is ticking away, 44.26. Can he take out a victory here in the final run of the weekend in the top class? V8 Superboats gets it wrong there, bogs it down. 42, clock's up on the clock already. 44.2, yes! 43.9. He was able to do it in spite of the fact he did bog it down a couple of times out there. What a great result.
Oh, fantastic result there from Daryl Hutton, considering that boat was in pieces just 2 days earlier.
The work that my team's gone into putting in that boat back together in the last 3 weeks, from a whole new side, a whole new wrap. Engine parts only arrived like 36 hours ago. We were still working on it 24 hours ago, and we live 750 k's away from here.
Well, the championship points in the V8 Superboats at the end of round 2. Daryl Hutton on top with 101, just 2 points ahead of Ted Sagitas and Mick Carroll. What a year we are in for. Hope you've enjoyed all of the action here from Temora. Next round, round 3, is on the Tweed Coast as we go sky high in V8 Superboat racing again.